This is the Simplex Model 1000. There are millions of these in use throughout the world, and they're the subject of a recent lawsuit that was filed against Kaba, a class action lawsuit in the United States. These locks, in our view, are defective. They can be bypassed in literally 5 seconds with a strong magnet, and the locking chamber appear to be the common element in all of the mechanical locks. Now, this is strictly a mechanical device. There's no electronics built into this lock. They can have a bypass cylinder, not have a bypass cylinder, doesn't matter. The basic defect is in the way that the individual chambers for the keys that set the combination can be bypassed. Toby, let's demonstrate opening this lock.
Well, normal use lock is a clutch lock. We have to put the right combination. Factor is 2 and 4 at the same time. 3, we can open the lock. Once, if we're making a mistake, every time that we depress the lever, it resets, so we can enter the right combination again. Okay, so on this lock, as Mike said, is easily bypassed using a magnet. I have the magnet just wrapped in a bag. We're just gonna depress the lever, the lock is open.
And that's it. In our view, this is an example of insecurity engineering at its best. These locks are used in a variety of applications, including high security facilities. They're really access control devices, but they are absolutely insecure with this bypass technique. These magnets are available off the shelf for about $100, $125 a piece, and it's going to be very interesting to see where this lawsuit goes, because it could involve potentially millions and millions of dollars in damages. And if this lawsuit proceeds, many other manufacturers may be at risk for the same or equivalent kinds of defects. We've identified a number of different locks that can be bypassed with magnetic fields. I've written about it extensively in Lock Safes and Security, but the magnet is just the tip of the iceberg, because there's equivalent techniques that we've developed, others have developed in the field, that make it equally easy. There's no skill involved in opening this lock. There's no expertise. It's strictly, if you have the magnet, you're going to open the lock. We'll demonstrate now what the mechanism design problem is with this. This is the key vault within the Simplex 1000. This has been documented in a very extensive video that Harry Shear and I did in the Dame series of discs. So we're not going to go into how the individual chambers function, but the critical issue is the little plate. And this is a steel plate that, if it's lifted, then the lock can be opened. So essentially what's happening is the magnetic field is pulling that, then there's no blockage for the entire mechanism to move. So Toby, why don't you just show?
Well, let's just put the combination. We're gonna see the individual gates aligning, and then we can.
So now let's just point out right now, all 5 of those gates are aligned. Let's just show so there's no question. Okay.
So now it allows this lever to go up. It can pass that point, resets the lock, and goes back to the normal stage lock position.
Yeah. So the critical issue is that this platen with 5 fences have to engage with each of those little rotors where the gates are properly aligned. Otherwise, this lock won't open. Okay? So If that platen with the 5 fences is moved, this lock's going to open. And that is precisely what's happening.
Well, actually, this some models of the Simplex levers 1000 had a feature from the inside, a little knob that actually that's exactly what it does.
Yes.
When you turn that knob, lift that plate, and you can leave the door in passage mode.
That's correct. The fact is that these locks are designed for this platen to move. And so it is a normal function. It's not exploiting the tolerances so much for the lock, it's exploiting one of the features. Obviously, if this were non-ferrous material, it would probably solve the problem, but Kaba has responded that there would be too much wear, and they think that would be a problem. So this is an eye-opener for the industry. The lock industry and design engineers really ought to be paying attention to this, because this is really an embedded defect in design that they should have anticipated and dealt with, and now it is going to cost them millions of dollars unless a judge decides that this doesn't constitute a defective product. Kaba evidently is answering, at least initially in their lawsuit, that all locks can be bypassed, and therefore, as I understand it, essentially, if you don't use the proper key or combination to open a lock, then all bets are off, that no manufacturer is liable. In my view, that is not going to stand, and this is going to have serious ramifications in the industry for insecure designs. One other point should be made, that there's absolutely no forensic trace. If this lock is bypassed, there is no indication that that has occurred. This obviously is non-electronic, and so there's no audit trail that exists whatsoever in this lock.